Imagine this, you and a friend are standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at the ocean. The waves crash against the rocks below, the wind rustles through the trees, and the sky stretches endlessly above. You feel a sense of peace, awe, and connection to nature. But when you glance over at your friend, you see a different expression, one of fear and anxiety. They are focused on the height, the potential danger, and the sheer drop below. Same place, same moment, but two entirely different experiences. How is this possible? The answer lies in perception. The way we see the world isn't just about what's in front of us, it's about how we interpret what we see. Our minds filter and shape our experiences based on our belief, our past experiences, and emotions. This means that life's not just about what happens to us, but about what we perceive what happens to us. In essence, there are millions of worlds existing at the same time, each one shaped by the unique perspective of the person experiencing it. And perception is a powerful thing. It determines how we interpret events, how we react to challenges, and ultimately how we live our lives. Two people can experience the same situation and come away with completely different interpretations. One might see a challenge as an opportunity for growth, while another sees it as an insurmountable obstacle. One might feel joy in a moment of solitude while another feels loneliness. Psychologists have long studied the impact of perception on our lives. The famous cognitive behavioral theory developed by Aaron Beck suggests that our thoughts or perceptions are the primary drivers of our emotions and our behaviors. So, if you perceive a situation as threatening, you're likely to feel anxious or fearful. If you perceive it as exciting, you might feel motivated or enthusiastic. So, the situation itself doesn't change, but your perception of it can completely alter your experience. Now, consider the idea that there are billions of worlds existing at the same time. This may sound like science fiction, but it's a metaphor for the countless ways people perceive the world around them. Each person's reality is shaped by their perceptions, meaning that every individual lives in a world of their own making. Think about how two people might perceive a rainy day. One person sees it as gloomy, depressing, and an inconvenience. They might feel frustrated that their plans are ruined. Another person sees the same rainy day as refreshing, a chance to slow down, and an opportunity to cozy up with a good book. The weather didn't change, but the experience of it did. These different worlds are not just about mood and attitude. They're about deeply ingrained patterns of thinking and belief systems. They're about how we've been conditioned to see the world through our unique lens. This is why two people can experience the same event and have completely different takeaways. Now let's bring in the analogy of the flower. Imagine a flower that isn't blooming. It remains closed, its petals never reach their full potential. Do you blame the flower for not blooming? Of course not. You don't assume that the flower is flawed or that it simply doesn't have what it takes to bloom. Instead, you look at the environment. Is the soil rich enough? Is there enough sunlight? Is the air humid enough? We understand that for a flower to bloom, it needs the right environment. The same principle applies to us. If we are not flourishing in our lives, if we are not reaching our full potential, we often blame ourselves. We think we're not trying hard enough, not smart enough, or maybe we're not even good enough. But what if the issue isn't with us? What if it's with our environment? As a life coach, I've seen countless people struggle with the same issue. They're not blooming and they think it's because they're flawed in some way. But more often than not, the issue lies in their environment, their relationships, their work, their daily routines. Just like a flower, we need the right conditions to thrive. And if those conditions aren't met, it's not a sign that we're broken or incapable. It's a sign that we need to make a change. So take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you in an environment that supports your growth? Do the people around you encourage and uplift you? Or do they bring you down? Is your work fulfilling or does it drain your energy? Are you taking care of your body and mind, or are you neglecting your well being? If you're not blooming, it's worth considering whether your environment is conducive to your growth. And I need to clarify, this isn't about blaming external factors for all your problems. It's about recognizing that you are influenced by the world around you. And just like a gardener can improve the conditions for a flower to bloom, you can make changes to your environment to support your own growth. In today's society, there's a strong emphasis on self-sufficiency. We are told that we should be able to handle anything on our own, that we should be strong, independent, and capable. While self-reliance is important, it's also a myth that we can do it all without help. Just as a flower can't bloom without the right environment, we can't thrive without support. So this brings me to an important point. Everything is figure-outable. But that doesn't mean you have to figure it out alone. Sometimes we don't have the tools we need to create the right environment for ourselves. We might not know how to set boundaries, how to prioritize our well-being, or how to build supportive relationships. And that's okay. It's okay to seek help, to ask for guidance, and to learn from others. The good news is that we live in a time where information and resources are more accessible than ever. If you don't have the tools you need to thrive, you can find them. You can learn new skills, adopt new mindsets, and create new habits. You can seek out mentors, join supportive communities, and invest in your personal growth. But before you can do any of that, you need to recognize that you have the power to change your environment. You have the power to choose how you perceive your reality. You have the power to decide which world and what world you want to live in, the world of fear, doubt, and limitation, or the world of possibility, growth, and fulfillment. So let's return to the idea of perception. Remember, life is only the way you see it. The situation itself doesn't define your experience, your perception of it does. This means that you have the power to change your reality by changing your perspective. If next time you're facing a challenge, ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Instead of viewing it as a problem, can you see it as an opportunity to learn and grow? Instead of focusing on what's lacking, can you focus on what's possible? Instead of blaming yourself for not blooming, can you look at your environment and see what changes need to be made? This shift in perspective is going to be powerful. It's not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see the potential in every situation. It's about recognizing that you have control over how you interpret your experiences, and the interpretation shapes your reality. One of the most important lessons I've learned as a life coach is that growth is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you feel like you're not blooming, when you're struggling to find your way. But those moments are part of the process. They're opportunities to check in with yourself, to reassess your environment, and to make the changes that you need to thrive. So remember, just as a flower needs time to grow, so do you. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself time and space that you need to figure things out. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. You don't have to do this alone. As you move forward, keep in mind that you have the power to create the world that you want to live in. You can choose how to perceive your reality, and you can choose to surround yourself with the people, experiences, and environments that support your growth. Life is only the way you see it. There are billions of worlds out there, but the one that matters the most is the one that you create for yourself. So if you're not blooming, don't blame yourself. Look at your environment, make the changes that you need, and remember that everything is figure-outable. And with that, I will see you in my next video right here that you wouldn't want to miss. I'll see you there. Bye.